Hey, this is Mike, and I'm going to show you how to use labels in a ScienceLogic SL1 dynamic application. This is the fourth video in a series on dynamic applications, so if you haven't watched the other three, you may be lacking a little bit of context. If you're just here to see how labels work and you don't need the context, don't worry about watching the others. But if you don't have a lot of familiarity with working with dynamic application alerts and thresholds and labels, I do encourage you to go back and watch the other three videos. So previously, we had altered the AWS billing performance dynamic application that was part of the Amazon Web Services Power Pack. We've got something that is variable. We can change what the threshold is before we get an alert on it. But the way that this application collects is not that it gets a total for every service and then puts it out there. It actually does a total per service. Our log message is not the most clear. It will tell me that the budget has gone up and down, but it won't tell me for which service. So we're going to add a label to our formulas here. So we'll start with the bill exceeded threshold. And as part of the result function, you can add a comma after your object, your collection object, and put label equals, and then you can choose one of your other objects that you've collected. So in this case, we're going to use service name O_6908. Now, if you're not totally sure in your case what the type of this object is, you may want to make it explicit. In our case, we want this to be a string. So I can put this in quotes, whether they're double or single quotes, and that will force it to turn into a string. If your object could potentially have quotes in it, what you can also do is wrap them in triple quotes, triple double quotes in this case, or triple single quotes to get a string literal. But that's probably not necessary for this use case, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Now that I've specified what the label is, I can actually include that value in my log message. So AWS bill for %L, L for label, has exceeded the threshold number of dollars. So now this alert is much more descriptive and helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on my other alert. Again, wrapping it in quotes because I want to make sure that I'm getting a string here. AWS, and we'll make the capitalization consistent as well. For capital L for the label has returned below the threshold. One more thing I'd like to mention. I know I said that you can wrap this in quotes to guarantee that you get a string back. Well, in our case for total, we should be getting back a float because we'll have our dollar amount with our cents. If you just want to guarantee that, you can actually do this, and that formula will work just fine. And any other Python functions that are native to the language that don't require an import statement can be included in your alert formula. So that is how we add a label to our formula and use it in our log message.